All right, let's just jump right in. We spend so much of our lives staring at screens, right? But have you ever really stopped to think about how that digital world is, well, changing the most human thing about us? Our relationships. That's exactly what we're going to unpack today, using some incredible insights from psychologist and therapy trainer Simona Herb. And this quote, it really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? The thing is, our biology, our actual nervous systems, were built for a totally different world. A world of face to face connection, of reading body language, of, things moving at a slower pace. But now, we're living in this crazy landscape of infinite choices, instant everything, and just constant digital noise. It's like our hearts, our biological hardware, are completely out of sync with the software we're running every single day.
So here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with screens in our hearts, then dive into the chaos of modern dating. We'll look at the psychology of why disconnection feels so bad, and then, importantly, shift to what we can actually do about it. We'll wrap up by talking about how to say goodbye in the digital age, and finish with a big question for you to chew on.
All right, first up, the screen and our hearts. This is all about that fundamental conflict between our ancient needs and our very modern world. So let's talk about our online identity, because it's a real double-edged sword. On the one hand, putting together your profile can be kind of great. It's like a vision board for who you want to be. It's your aspirational avatar, and it can genuinely push you to be better. But then there's the flip side, that constant, soul-crushing comparison. I mean, think about it. Our brains did not evolve to compare our messy, real lives to the polished highlight reels of, well, everyone on Earth, 24/7. The pressure that creates is just immense, and a lot of the time, we don't even realize it's happening. And all that comparison and pressure leads to something Simona Herb calls junk food stimulation. It's such a perfect term, right? It's that little buzz you get from a like or a nice comment. It's like emotional junk food, a quick, sugary hit of validation that feels good for a minute. It satisfies that surface level craving to be seen. But just like real junk food, it's all empty calories. It doesn't build actual lasting self-worth. It doesn't teach you the skills for real connection. So you're left feeling, well, still hungry. Okay, let's zoom in on where this whole digital dynamic gets really, really intense. The world of modern dating. It's an absolute minefield of swiping, lies, and yes, ghosting. And right away, we run into a trust issue. Check this out. Research from evolutionary psychologist David Buss found these super predictable patterns in the little white lies people tell on their dating profiles. Men are more likely to fudge their height and how much money they make. Classic provider signals. Women, on the other hand, are more likely to tweak their weight and their age, which are signals for fertility. Now, this isn't about judging anyone, but it's fascinating, right? It shows that from the very first swipe, the ground we're building a connection on can already be a little bit shaky. And what happens when that connection breaks? All too often, it's ghosting. We've all heard of it, maybe even been through it. And yeah, it feels like just terrible manners, but there's actually some deep psychology going on here. For people with what's called an avoidant attachment style, basically people who get really uncomfortable with emotional closeness, a tough conversation feels like a genuine threat. So ghosting becomes their escape hatch. It's easier to just vanish than to face all that emotion. But man, for the person left behind, it is absolutely devastating. So, why does it hurt so much? There's this famous psychological study called the still face experiment that gives us a huge clue. Picture this. A mom is playing with her baby, smiling, cooing. The baby is happy and engaged. Then, on cue, the mom's face goes completely blank. No expression, no response. And within 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, the baby goes from trying to get a reaction to becoming deeply, visibly distressed. They completely fall apart. Ghosting is the adult version of the still face. That total lack of response is one of the most jarring, upsetting things our nervous system can experience. It's a primal panic button.
Okay, so to really get a handle on why we react the way we do, we need to talk about attachment theory. It's the key to decoding our digital protests. Protest is the healthiest behavior. Now, this idea from Simona Herb might sound totally backwards. I mean, we usually think of things like, posting a thirst trap story to make someone jealous as playing games. But from an attachment perspective, it's actually something called protest behavior. And get this, it's the healthiest initial response when you feel a connection slipping away. It's like you're sending up a flare, just hoping they'll see it and come back. It means you haven't given up. It shows you still have hope. And this process of disconnection, it actually follows 4 really predictable stages. First, you have protest. That's you sending out signals, like we just talked about, just trying to get some kind of response. But if that gets ignored, you move to stage 2, clinging. This is where things get more intense. It's the constant checking of your social media, the suspicion, that feeling of panic mixed with hope. You're basically shouting louder. If that doesn't work over time, you slip into stage 3, depression. This is where the hope starts to fizzle out. You lose energy. You start thinking, what's the point? It's not worth trying anymore. And the final stage, if nothing changes, is detachment. This is your brain's self-preservation kicking in. It shuts down the need for that person entirely. It's no longer, I don't have hope. It's, you know what? Even if they change their mind now, I don't even want it.
Okay, so that's the problem, and it can feel a little bleak. But let's pivot. How do we actually fight back? How can we forge real, solid connections amidst all this digital chaos? The keyword here is intentionality. You have to actively build what you could call digital castle walls around your relationship. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Little things like having a phone basket where you both drop your devices in the evening. That can be a total game changer. Actually scheduling screen-free time together and having the awkward conversations before they become a fight. What counts as infidelity online? Is liking an ex's bikini picture okay? What about DMs? Figure this stuff out together proactively. It's so important. But what happens when things don't work out? How do you move on? This is where we need to talk about closing digital doors, because it's a huge modern problem. Think about this for a second. Forgetting is a form of regulation. That's a really powerful idea. Our brains are actually designed to let memories fade a little, to let the sharp edges soften over time. It's not a flaw in our memory, it's a feature. It's a built-in healing mechanism that allows us to regulate our emotions and actually move on from pain. But in our world, nothing has to fade. So you really have to ask yourself, are your digital archives, all those old photos, saved texts, the ability to just check their profile, are they holding you hostage? Is it keeping you from emotionally moving on? Because every time you look, you're basically reopening the wound and preventing that natural healing process from even starting.
And this is why we have to completely reframe how we think about this. Deleting old photos, unfollowing, or even blocking an ex, that's not petty. It's not immature. These are healthy digital closure rituals. They are powerful acts of self-care. You're literally telling your own brain, your own nervous system, hey, this chapter is over, we're safe now, it's time to move forward.
So after all of that, the good, the bad, the psychological, it brings us to one final, really important question. In a world of literally infinite swipes, a world that gives you a bottomless list of potential partners, what actually makes a connection real? What makes it stick? When you can have anything, what makes something or someone worth choosing, worth fighting for, and worth building those castle walls around?